Hello and welcome to Voice to the Voids, the Daily Voice, here for October 4th, 2012. Facebook revealed today that users who discover apps through their App Center are 40% more likely to return on the next day than their previous App Center. This new App Center was launched in June. This is from Inside Social Games. It seems like a very interesting change. However, it also is an interesting change because people are continually attempting to get people to stay on their games more frequently. So it'd be more interesting to see how, without the App Store change, games have progressed over that same amount of time as games get more addictive and games get more knowledgeable and skilled at retaining users. That would be a very interesting change to log and compare it to that 40%, because it might not actually be relative to their App Center change. Facebook is also offering advertising for your posts. When you make a post on Facebook, you can pay $7 to put it right up the top of everybody's news feed. I guess this is a cool monetization feature that they can definitely use. I mean, it's a good social way to get money, I suppose. I'm just not sure who exactly is going to use it. I mean, some people like myself, whether it's this show or whether it's other things, might use that service to promote, well, their show, their game, or whatever else they're releasing at the time, and get it right up the top, just like I would an ad. But it's a bit weird, to say the least. They have been saying in the past that their advertising revenue streams are going to be increased over the upcoming year. Now that they've gone public, this apparently is one of the ways that they're doing that. The Modbook is now taking pre-orders. This is a tablet with Mac OS X that has a cost of about $3,500, so it's a rather expensive thing, but to compete with the touchscreen computer that's supposed to be coming out with Windows later, it might be a very interesting twist, because it is a very interesting multi-touch device. I mean, the Mac OS is already set up very strongly for multi-touch. They do also offer it with Windows 7. I'm not exactly sure why you'd want that, though, especially unless you're going to immediately upgrade it to Windows 8, but especially since it's not really changed yet. FIFA has broken 4.5 million copies in 5 days, as GamesIndustry.biz. That's a lot of copies, just showing you the amount of pull the sports game industry still has. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's just the first-person shooters and those games that are making it, but, I mean, between casual games, social games, and all of that, speaking of which, Rovio's Bad Piggies has just gone to the #1 position in 3 hours. So they now are the fastest chart topper. This is also from GamesIndustry.biz, and that's a impressive statistic. Although more on that from App Annie via Inside Mobile Apps. It apparently takes more than 54,000 downloads a day to reach the top 10 of the iOS App Store. So you can imagine how many it's already having to have in just that short amount of time. It also takes 13,000 to just reach the top 100, which is a more reasonable figure, but that's still a lot of downloads. Now, I'm believing that this is for each region, so I'm not 100% sure that you can actually reach global for that, but this is probably just US or UK. Now, Loot Drop, the new developer, has started a $1 million Kickstarter that involves Tom Hall and John Romero for a old-school RPG traditional game like that. It'll be very interesting to see how this one fares as Kickstarter kind of matures and develops. There's been a lot of press about individuals speaking out against these social means of gathering funds, but it hasn't really slowed down. A lot of people had predicted that it was going to slow down. I don't necessarily see this slowing down unless there's a major, major goof up by one of these games or projects that people poured piles of money into and they just flat out can't deliver. I mean, it is a bit of a breathing down the back of your neck thing where the people are watching. They're wanting the progress. Nobody wants to be the first to fail at the major Kickstarter. I'm sure there's been a bunch of little ones that have had issues or problems, but for the most part, I haven't seen any of the major ones fail yet, so it'll be very interesting to see. Speaking of interesting to see, the iPad mini is now officially being mass-produced. According to the Wall Street Journal, it has not been announced by Apple, but the iPad mini could be a very interesting changeover for the industry with a bunch of, well, size differences in all of Apple's iOS. Now with the new change in the screen size of the phone, now with the regular iPads, and to have another screen size, it changes it from its original standard development sizes of one or maybe two different sizes that you had to develop for, and now you're going to be developing for four or maybe more under that one developer license. So it'll be very interesting to see how the iPad mini does turn out, and if it's truly going to be a major thing that people are going to be using, or whether this is a limited run to experiment with it. NCSoft has responded to players who were mounting significant efforts to attempt to save City of Heroes, in that they would not be saving it and that they should enjoy the finale of the game and how it goes forward. It'll be interesting to see if, again, people set up small private servers, try to hold it over that way. And it's very interesting to see how many people are actually still very attached to this. I'm kind of surprised that you don't just leave a server running, that you don't just keep something going that, I mean, it can still earn you money, it can still do all of that. Now, how you structure that, whether you have to put in too much to it, I'm not 100% sure. Well, that's all the news for today. So, see you tomorrow. This has been Voice to the Void with Topaz. Bye. See you then.